Happy Record Store Day, everyone. Record Store Day 2014. Chad here, doing a video. This is my third attempt to do this video, so I am this close to the fuck it line. I mean, I have been so pissed off trying to make this video. I had the nice tablet out that's better quality. This is poor. This is horrible quality that I'm on right now. The text is going to be backwards. Let's get that out of the way. I think it's just a sign from above, though, that I'm just not meant to make really nice quality videos, because every time I try to do it, something happens. I get the video done and it won't upload. So anyway, you don't care about any of that. But again, this doesn't go through. You're not going to be seeing me for a while, because I'm going to just go into my Unabomber mode and just shun technology, because this is just insane. Anyway, happy Record Store Day, everyone. Record Store Day 2014, the 7th annual gathering of the Juggalos. I was going to say gathering of the Juggalos, but a gathering of the record store enthusiasts. I consciously made the decision this year to not get up early and wait in line, because I feel like, honestly, anytime there's a line of people outside of a store before it opens and there's tons of people in line, we start to lose our humanity quite a bit. You know, Black Friday, things like that. I don't like that. It really upsets me to see people behave that way. So I said I'm not going to do it. I've done it in the past. I participated in all 7 record store days, as I said earlier. But the last year I didn't do it, and the last time I did, I believe, was 2012. And there was like 50 people there in 2012. I think last year there was like, I heard there was like 75 or something. There was easily 125 people in front of me. And I got there, I ended up getting there at like 2 minutes till 9. The record store opened at 9. So I went to get there right when they opened, but I just didn't want to stand in line. So I got there like at 8:58, 125 people in front of me. So I mean, it's just, this thing is just ballooning and ballooning and ballooning. Playing in the background is Frankincense. It's an album by the CSC Funk Band. It looks like one of those containers of incense. This is a 2013 Record Store Day release. Really good stuff. But anyway, got there, and when I saw that line, I was expecting a big line, but I wasn't really ready for that. I'm going to be honest with you. And I knew right away that I was not going to be able to find some of the really limited stuff on my list that I made a video edition of, a video list earlier in the week, wanting some of that stuff. And this Record Store Day was par for the course. As far as you make a list, you find about half the stuff on it, you don't find the other half, and you end up with about half the stuff on your list and half the stuff you had no intention of buying whatsoever. And that's what happened to me. I got the stuff that was just not on my list that I was not planning on buying, but all in all, some pretty good finds. And I went, and I was done by like 9:30, and then I went back a little bit later in the day to watch some live bands, some music. So I'll show you what I ended up getting. Again, the text is backwards, I apologize, but you'll get to see at least what I picked up. Let's get the 7 inches out of the way to begin with. If you watch this channel, you know I'm not a big 45 collector. I probably have under 100 in my collection, but sometimes there's some cool shit that you want to pick up. So this was on my list, and real quick, I've been enjoying watching the people in Europe that have already made videos for Record Store Day over there. I've already seen this shown, and I expect this to be shown quite a bit. This is Devo and the Flaming Lips, Gates of Steel, on steel-colored vinyl. This is, of course, the fantastic Devo song, Gates of Steel. One of my favorite Devo songs of all time. It really is. I believe it's on Freedom of Choice. I could be wrong. But I freaking love this Devo song, and it's a live version of Devo doing it, and they play it pretty true to the original version. But the Flaming Lips, however, really take a lot of artistic liberty with their version of it, almost like a minute-long percussive intro that sounds not unlike something you would hear on an LCD sound system record. And Wayne is still very much into that terror-esque vocal style delivery, very subdued, very slowed down version. I for one, am a big fan of when bands take artistic liberties with cover songs. I expected nothing less from the Flaming Lips, and this really delivered. This is really awesome. So I'm glad to have this in the Flaming Lips collection. A few years ago, I actually, if I can pull it here, I got the Flaming Lips and Mastodon. Oh, it's over there somewhere. Anyway, I got the Flaming Lips and Mastodon side-by-side series, and it was pretty cool. So anyway, glad to get that. I think they pressed 7,100 of those, or 7,000, something like that. So I knew I'd be able to get that. When I did go back later in the day, there was nothing left though, so those did sell out here. The other 7-inch I got, it's a band called Off, which is a sort of a supergroup punk band fronted by Keith Morris, the legendary singer of Black Flag and Circle Jerks. They just came out with a new album. This also, like the album, is on Vice Records. I got a chance to listen to this, so I put this on the turntable already. Just badass punk rock. Guitars are mixed so loud and just so punchy. They sound awesome. Really has that Jealous Again type Black Flag classic punk vibe. 1.5 minute, 2-minute long songs. Wasn't planning on buying this at all, but what was cool is the artwork. Really big fan of that artwork. That's awesome. I'm a fan in theory of punk 7 inches. You know, just in theory, those old 45s you see from the 80s. So I'm a fan of this in theory. I don't have a lot of them, but when I saw this artwork and saw it there, and I wasn't finding some of the other stuff, I said, "Oh, what the hell?" This artwork is by a guy named Shepard Fairey. He's famous for doing the Barack Obama poster from the 2008 election. So some of you, I'm sure, are probably familiar with that poster. Listen to this, just standard black vinyl. The song "Learn to Obey" is very, very good. I really liked it a lot. And "I See Through You," the B-side, is pretty good as well. Again, not just kind of a blind buy, but I knew what I was going to get. And you know, the thing about Off is they don't try to be anything else than what they are, and that's okay, because they do what they execute their style very, very well. And I was glad I bought this Off. I think this was surprised that I got one of these because I think there was only 1,000 pressed of these, and the new Off album actually made the Billboard charts for what that's worth. So again, because of Pitchfork and things like that, I didn't think I'd get that, but I did. Moving right along, another thing was not on my list. Blind by Black Angels. This is called Clear Lake Forest. This is on Blue Horizon Records. First of all, Black Angels are very, very hit or miss for me. I like some of their older things. I like some songs on every album. In theory, I really like that sound, that swamped out psychedelic Austin, Texas type sound. I really do like that in theory, but sometimes it just doesn't work for me. This, however, this is pretty good. When they're on, they're on. And for $15, this was about $15. Again, I wasn't finding everything I wanted, so I thought, well, let's take a chance on it. I don't have any Black Angels in the collection, and it's a 10-inch, so I thought that would be something kind of different, kind of cool. This is on clear vinyl, the black label on that side, and a red label on that side. I did get a chance to listen to half of this, or almost all of it, and from what I understand, it's 7 unreleased songs. It says 7 new songs on the hype sticker, but I heard somewhere these are like B-sides from their last session. I could be wrong. I'll say this about it. It's pretty damn good, but it definitely has that B-side feel to it. Specifically, there's not a lot of continuity from one track to another. There's trying a lot of things on this, and most of it works, but as Tom Waits said about his B-side collection a few years back, we were cooking dinner, and a lot of things fell behind the stove, and we were cooking dinner, and we decided to scrape it all up and put it on an album. I think that's kind of what the Black Angels did there, but again, not a bad thing to have in your collection by any means. So keep on going. This is another thing that was not on the list, but decided to pick it up. This is Brian Jonestown Massacre, split with a band called Magic Castles. I got the Brian Jonestown, I believe it was, I don't know if it was Record Store Day or Black Friday release last year, and glad I got it. This is limited to 3,000, and I got number 1941. You're not going to be able to see it because the quality is from the early 2000s on this computer. But really glad to get this. Didn't think I would get it. It's limited to 3,000. Each band has 2 songs, 4 songs total. They did a phenomenal job on the dye of this. It's a sort of a cream-colored splatter. Clear cream-colored. Just really nice. I don't have any record that sounds like, that looks like that. As far as the music goes, psychedelic as hell. Just what you would expect from the Jonestown Massacre. Actually, while I'm on the Jonestown Massacre, I actually almost killed their singer a few years ago in Nashville, Tennessee. I was going to a BJM show, and he walked out right in front of my car. I was several hours before. We were going to go to some bars and stuff, and he walked right out in front of it. It was right in front of this venue called Exit In. And, I mean, if the police investigated, if I had hit him, they would say, well, this guy, walked in front of the car. It was his fault. But I was going pretty fast, and he wasn't paying attention. He was wearing a Canadian tuxedo, and he had a backpack full of drugs, I'm sure, that he was going to go shoot heroin in an alley somewhere, I guess. I don't know if that's true. That's probably not fair. But anyway, I almost killed him, but I'm glad I didn't, because he went on to make this, and I got to, and my story went along, and I got to go by it. So it worked out good for us both in the end. But yeah, I almost killed Anton Newcomb. If any of you all know who Anton Newcomb is. But anyway, that's a really good release, and glad to get that. Moving right along, another psychedelic album. I feel like Nathan Morales doing this with all these psychedelic records. Tame Impala, live versions. This is a 8-song EP, I guess you would call it, of live versions of their songs. What's kind of cool about this is the singer said they were very consciously trying to play the songs very different live, to switch them up so they don't sound at all like the album versions. Look at that back cover, it's a live setup. That's what my house would look like if I hit the lottery. Just all those analog synths. It's so awesome. Haven't got to listen to this yet. I was actually surprised. This was on my list. They pressed 5,000 of these, but I'm nonetheless kind of surprised that I got one, because I really thought, with being so far back behind the line and with a lot of young people in front of me and Pitchfork and all this stuff, that I wouldn't get a copy of this. But they had like 20 of these left when I went back in the afternoon. They got ordered a lot of them here. It's on a sort of a clear green vinyl, which I have some records that are on clear green vinyl, so that wasn't all that impressed like I was with the Jonestown pressing. But I'm really looking forward to hearing this. I really do like Tame Impala's last 2 records, and I think this will be interesting to see how they change it up. I got a few more here. This was on my list. This was one of the ones that I had to have. Flaming Lips, Seven Skies. Ow! Ow! Seven Skies H3. This is, of course, a pare down from the infamous 24-hour song into 55 minutes, sprawled across 10 tracks, so you get about 5 minutes apiece. This is on sort of a reflective cover that reminds you of that Arcade Fire album that came out last year. Yes, it's condensed and remastered. I don't know if this is getting a release outside of Record Store Day. This is the inner sleeve here. Very reflective. And it's a very nice, almost surgical, clear vinyl there. As far as the music goes, I being a big Flaming Lips fan, even though I do have my limits, and I never made the commitment of sitting down and listening to the full 24-hour song. So I think this was a good idea for fans that could not make that commitment and sit down and do that, to pare it down into a release. I've heard some of this on YouTube. I haven't put it on the turntable yet, and some really good quality stuff, as you might imagine. This is recorded in 2011. It was released inside a Gummy Skull. But so far, I'm really enjoying what I'm hearing. I'm going to sit down a little bit later and listen to it, and but really liked what I heard so far. So glad to see that. And one other thing on the Flaming Lips, really quick. I mean, the Flaming Lips are very synonymous with Record Store Day for me. I know that they have different ambassadors every year. This year we had Chuck D. Last year was Jack White. But to me, the ambassadors emeritus, if you will, are always the Flaming Lips, because they do such cool shit for Record Store Day. 2 more things left. This was on my list. Both these were on my list. This one did not think I would get it to find. This is limited to 1,500 pieces. Sun Ra, Outer Spaceways Incorporated. This was recorded in 1968 in New York City. This has all new artwork for this release, remastered for the first time in 30 years. And like I said, all brand new artwork. Love that artwork. Just love that. And they did a phenomenal job. On the dye of the vinyl, the light is not going to do this justice, but it's a, as I said, purple and white, but that looks almost white. You can see a little bit of purple now. Very Eastery purple. You have a black label on that side, a white label on this side. Sort of a pastel Easter egg purple. Very creamy. Just beautiful. I don't have a record that looks like this. So that was really cool. As far as the music goes, 1968, very avant-garde period of Sun Ra's career, free jazz, space jazz. This is a really good release, and it's kind of cool to see jazz represented on Record Store Day. We typically get a few Miles Davis releases. There wasn't one this year, surprisingly, but cool to see some free jazz stuff like this represented. There's my store got 2 copies of this, and when I went back in the afternoon, it was gone. I think there was one left after I got this one. But glad to get this, and surprised I got it. And lastly, this was the most expensive piece I bought. I went back and forth on whether to actually spend the money on it. With tax, it was about 40 bucks, which I was watching someone else's video. I think it was Mr. Dylan Records video, where he said that about Record Store Day this year, and he made a really good point where he said something to the effect of, in the old days of Record Store Day, it was like the prices were pretty consistent with what you would expect, but here lately it's like there's a big variation. There's some things that are very reasonable, some things that are just gouging your eyeballs out with, and this was a pretty big gouge, but it was almost 40 bucks with tax. Having said that, it's been out of print for a long time, so if I wanted to order this, it would be about that anyway, so that's the reason that I could justify doing it. Plus, it comes with a really cool hologram cover there, which you can kind of see on that. It looks like Chuck D and Flavor Flav coming out of the jail cell at you. This is, of course, the seminal hip-hop album, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. This is a Def Jam reissue. Really wanted this in the collection for a long time. I'm really proud to have it. It's just on standard black heavyweight vinyl. Sounds great. Just for something I wanted to get for a long time, and it was on the list, and this was limited to 2,000. Surprised I got this. But I guess those people just weren't interested in it for whatever reason, or didn't want to pay that much. So there you go. You know, in a nutshell, got some good stuff. Had a good time. Been really enjoying watching your all's videos. So another Record Store Day has come and passed. I'm happy that it was so successful for my local record store. Again, I think they probably did what they do in 3 months in 1 day there. And at the end of the day, I want them to stay in business, as I said earlier, so I'm really happy with such a success. And yeah, so let me know what you think, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of your videos. Take care. Happy Earth Day.